Well, hello, Transparent Church and friends. This is Pastor James with the Word of the Day. Today I want to spotlight Romans chapter 15, verse number 13 from the New Living Translation, where we find these words. I pray that God, the source of hope, will fill you completely with joy and peace because you trust in Him. Then you will overflow with confident hope through the power of the Holy Spirit. Well, as we get started with this day and get ready for the weekend, I want to use for a theme today, pray for joy. The Apostle Paul here begins to share with the church at Rome the importance of having two things that go hand in hand, and that is joy and hope. It's hard to have joy when you don't have hope, and it's hard to hope if you're not full of joy. So today, I want to challenge you to pray for joy. Perhaps you have been listening this week and you've heard us talk about a life of joy. You've heard us talk about how to sustain joy. And we've talked to us, or you've heard us rather talk to you about how to protect our joy and understanding that joy is strength. I need you to understand with me today that even if we're lacking in joy, we can do exactly what the Apostle Paul did for the church, and that's pray for joy, because he knew as they grew in joy, it would impact their hope all the more so that it would be overflowing. And when you have overflowing hope and joy, the enemy has a hard time with you, and you and I have a greater time of experiencing the Ephesians 3:20, the abundant life, where God does the exceedingly in our lives. So today, as you get ready to go into your weekend, if you're lacking in joy, if you're limited in the joy that you know could be greater, stop and pray. Maybe you don't have an Apostle Paul. I'm going to pray for you today that God would increase your joy as you increase your and my trust in Him, so that we have hope that begins to overflow. We begin to praise with more power. We begin to pray with more power. We begin to experience His presence more. And we begin to have more power on the inside because we know our God. So let's leave this week leading into the weekend praying for joy, because the joy of the Lord still is our strength. Make it a great weekend. Lord willing, we'll see you at church on Sunday with your joy full. And we'll talk to you next time.